Paul, in the 2015 Women's World Cup final, USA soccer player Carli Lloyd scored not one, not two, but 3 goals in the first 16 minutes of the match. It's arguably the most amazing start to a championship game in the history of all sports. 3 goals in 16 minutes is crazy. But the really crazy thing is she had actually visualized scoring those goals at a workout right before the World Cup. So Paul, explain the power of visualization. I think a lot of people don't really understand it.
Well, it's been talked about, for years in sports, where I remember a story about Jerry Rice laying down in the Super Bowl. I forget which Super Bowl it was. They played in so many. And he was actually playing the game in his mind and seeing himself make plays all over the field. People thought he was sleeping, but he wasn't sleeping. He was awake. His eyes were closed, but he was mentally visualizing how the game was going to play out. And he went on to have a stellar game and became MVP of the Super Bowl.
You said something interesting that it's talked about a lot. I think some people scoff at this stuff. They say you have self-help gurus who come out and say, just visualize it, put a picture on the wall and it will come. And it becomes a little bit too much dreamy and not rooted in reality. So I think what we all understand is it's not just putting a picture on the wall and this great car will appear in your life or house, whatever it is that you've got on that wall. You have to do the work for it. But how does, in your opinion, do the work get supplemented and supported by actually visualizing that success? So you put the two together. What does the visualization part of it do for you, when you want to achieve something and you have some goal in your life?
It's part of the equation of manifesting what you want in this world. Because it's underutilized. It's something that people don't use a lot and implement in their life. Now, they do the work, right? They go to work or they do their job or they do whatever they do. Or as an athlete, they lift weights and they run and whatever their sport is. But they don't do the mental work. The mental work is like massively important because the imagination is as powerful as the doing. So the imagination is part of the reality. It's just as powerful. The brain doesn't know the difference. It's the same neurotransmitter response as if it's actually happened. So by doing the work in the mind prior to an event or prior to something you want, it will naturally bring about those things. Because if you do those things, then it's as if the event already occurred. So when you go out and perform, from a performance perspective, I believe it takes stress and it lessens the moment for people.
Because they've already done it.
They've already done it in their mind.
Right. So it's just like, it's a
formality.
It's like the term muscle memory, right? You've already done it, so you just kind of, it's just flowing right out of you.
And yes, and you're gauging, you're training your mind to have this experience. And so it's very natural that when you go out,
that's what you do.
That's what you do. That's what's going to happen.
Right. And yeah, you mentioned that the imagination is just as powerful of things actually happening. There was really a really interesting study that Harvard had done on this exact topic. And they ran this study where they had people in the room playing a piano with their finger. And then they had another group imagining they were playing a piano with their finger. And when they looked at the brain map that they had wired and were studying, the response to the brain was exactly the same for the person who played the piano and the person who imagined playing the piano. So in the brain's mind, they were actually playing the piano, even though they were only imagining it. So, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but science is proving that Paul McDonald...
Oh my God. Really?
Yes.
Crazy.
How crazy is that? No, but yeah, so so you're right. That's how powerful the mind is. We can actually imagine it into reality.
And that's what Jerry Rice was doing when he was laying down. It's like it was already happening. It was happening, right? So you imagine that happening right now, right in this moment. But you also feel You bring feeling to the equation.
Interesting.
What does it actually
So it's not just
feel
an
like?
intellectual process.
No.
It's
a feeling process too. And that creates power to the visualization exercise.
Right.
So I had this guy.
So we're emotionally connected to the moment, not just intellectually connected
Yes.
to the moment. Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but that's why.
So there was this great receiver for the young son, Matthew. He was
Right.
in high school.
Yeah.
So I have to tell this story. Yeah, Matthew had a great receiver named Austin Osborne, who was committed to the University of Washington, but he was in a little bit of a slump. A couple games early in the season, he wasn't performing well, so I asked Matthew, I go, I want to talk to Austin. And Matthew is like, well, why do you want to talk to Austin? I go,
Right.
Well,
He's like, Dad.
I think I can help him.
Right.
And Matthew's like, okay, because Matthew really needed, him to perform.
Yeah,
right?
of
'Cause
course. He's
he
throwing
wanted-
the ball to his best guy. The best guy has to be performing.
Yes. So we met and we talked, and I walked him through some of the concepts, and I just listened to him a little bit. And at one point in time, he said, a lot of people say he's really fast, and he glides, he runs like a gazelle. And so I thought for a moment, I go, well, Austin, gazelles get eaten by cheetahs. Because I felt he was a little timid out there when he was going
Right.
for the ball. I go, you got to be thinking like a cheetah, not a gazelle. Attack the ball. That ball is yours. You own it. And that next week, he changed his whole mindset. He visualized that and how he perceived himself. And
Being more powerful and being strong and going fast and strong, not just fast.
instead of a gazelle, you're just like pretty. And you
Right.
run around.
Like,
Yeah, you got to
cheetah.
own the ball. That's
Right.
my ball. It's in
Yes.
the air. Nobody
Right.
else is going to touch it.
Right.
So he came in with that mindset, right? He visualized that. He had 5 touchdown catches. The next week, he was off Orange County Offensive Player of the Week.
Wow. And all about just sort of changing that visualization perspective of himself from this sort of passive gazelle to a more aggressive cheetah.
Yeah, that was it. And that he went from having 2 drops, no touchdowns, maybe a couple catches, to having 5 touchdown catches
In one game.
In one game.
Wow.
Next week.
Yeah. And I think here,
It's powerful. I mean, this
it's-
is really, really powerful. If people will take the time in a quiet place to be able to get into that zone, and that's really what you're doing. You're attempting to get into the zone, and then hopefully in the game it can translate.
You can go back
to
into
making
that
plays.
zone.
Yes,
Right. And again, I already said it earlier, but I think what is really important to understand is that as you go through life, you have various tools in your toolbox. And visualization by itself obviously isn't going to get you the success that you want and need from life, but it is a great tool that supplements those other tools, the hard work that you do, getting up in the morning and all the other stuff that other people will really talk about a lot, and we will as well. But the key to it is that when you do the work and then you add in the visualization, now you've both done sort of the more physical work, but now I've also done the imagination work that allows you, as you said, to get into the zone.
And it's not just for sports. This is for life. This is for if you want to get your dream job, if you want to close that sale. Right. You could visualize getting the sale before you walk into the meeting to make your presentation.
Right.
You're right. And it's almost like a calming effect too.
Right.
Again, having already gone through it, it's not like practicing the speech or practicing the presentation. It's visualizing how it's going to go and how does it all feel when everyone's receiving it so well and so happy, how you feel about that and the excitement. And so then when you go actually do it, you're much more in a comfortable space.
You've already had that.
You already had the experience.
Yeah.
It all worked out well.
Right.
So you're more relaxed. They're going to sense you're more relaxed. And you're probably going to get the sale. You got to know your stuff though, when you go in there.
Right.
That's what we're talking about.
Right. Yeah. So to sum it all up, do the work, add in visualization, and just really great things can happen. Carli Lloyd scored 3 goals in 16 minutes at a World Cup final.
Miracles can happen.
Hey, Paul.
Yeah.
This is the part where we're supposed to tell people to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Okay, will you please do that then? I mean,
Yeah.
if you enjoy it,
Yeah.
please do.
And if you don't, do it anyways, because we need your help.
We do.
Also, we have a website called GameChangeNation.com. Just go there and subscribe and you'll get tons of free content.
And what we're really trying to do is create a community of people that love sports.
Yep.
And the great lessons that we learn from sports, but we want to hear from you.
We do. So we're going to have a bunch of social media pages from TikTok to Instagram to Twitter to Facebook. Instagram, I probably already said all of them. Please join them and tell us your stories. We'd love to hear from you. Oh, and we wrote a book.
Oh,
Forgot about that.
Forgot that.
The book is called Through the Tunnel. It's available on Amazon now. If you go straight down here to this link that you can see below us, you will be able to purchase it. We'd love it if you could do it.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.